Welcome to podcast number 5, I think it is.
Thanks, man. Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah. First of all, what's your full name, Billy?
It's actually William Campbell Frederick
It is William.
Pullen, yeah. So it's I got 3 names, but people just call me Billy.
Okay.
It's easier.
Cool, Billy. How old are you?
I'm 29.
29?
29, yeah.
Oh, wow, that's...
Still a young buck.
But?
Still a young buck.
Oh, buck.
I'm still a young buck.
Oh,
yeah.
buck. A young
Still got
buck.
all the energy, man.
Oh, right, of course. Yeah,
Yeah.
I can tell.
Yeah.
So, you're my CrossFit hero. Actually, I've never met a guy of this level of fitness.
Oh, thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Other than maybe one contestant might be my first trainer, in Germany, who used to train me in wrestling, because I used to do semi or professional wrestling for 12 years.
Yeah.
And he's a beast. He's a Rambo type guy. He would run into the forest for like hours. And,
I know, for sure.
Swim in the winter and like.
Yeah, there's
anyway.
the wrestlers do crazy training, man. That's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I put you on a similar level of crazy fitness.
Thank you, man.
Yeah,
Thank you.
But let's jump right into it. So I prepared some stuff. First of all, you are from South Africa.
Yeah.
And which place and what brought you to Southeast Asia?
Yeah, so basically, so I was born in Durban in South Africa. It's a coastal city in South Africa. So it's one of the 3 main cities. So obviously we have Joburg, Cape Town, and in Durban. I was born there and then obviously grew up there. Yeah, so I went to a school called Clifton in Durban. And then from there, so I'll just basically start with my sporting background. So in South Africa, one good thing is like all schools forces young children to start sports pretty early. So even before that, my mom got me into rugby pretty early. So I started playing rugby when I was 5 years old. So that kind of built the base. And then as soon as you go to a school, it's encouraged to do sports. And then most schools in South Africa actually force physical activity. So you have to do a sport each semester. So basically,
is that similar to the American system? They're also very sports centric, right?
Yeah, so we're very, very much based around sports. So obviously it's to keep the children out of trouble, keep them busy after school, because mostly the parents obviously work till about 5 p.m.
Yeah.
So to keep them busy from 2:30 till 5 p.m. But so in South Africa, everyone starts sports very early, and then I played rugby for most of my school career, and then obviously because there's so many sports available, like I played a host of different sports too. Cricket, soccer, I did swimming, I did a bunch of different things. So all those sports together obviously created a pretty solid base for me to go into CrossFit with.
Wow, okay.
That's for sure.
But then what brought you into CrossFit? What was the trigger?
Yeah, so basically I spent some time in South Africa in Pretoria. That's where I studied. I studied some electrical there, and then while I was studying, not electrical engineering, electrical just basically like a bridging course for electrical engineering, because I had my sights set on just opening an electrical company in Durban.
Okay.
I wanted to. My thinking was I want to go into something where I can open a company as quick as possible.
Yeah.
And then after I studied it for about a year and a half, and then I also worked for 2 years, and it just wasn't my kind of thing. So obviously went into fitness from there. But the way that I got into CrossFit was I was actually in Pretoria. After I did my whole studying, I spent some time in Pretoria just focusing on sprint kayaking. So I also did sprint kayaking from the age of 14 or like 13-ish, somewhere around about there. And then I spent some more time doing sprint kayaking after school while I was studying.
Sprint what?
Sprint kayaking.
What is that?
So it's like an Olympic sport where rowers go backwards. We the smaller boat that go forwards. So we paddle.
Oh, it's
canoeing.
Like paddling. Oh, canoeing.
Yeah.
Okay.
So basically it's called canoeing, sprint kayaking.
Okay.
We call it K1. K1 is the one person boat.
Yeah.
Then you get K2, K4.
Yeah.
So that's the one sport that I played, and I did that at an international level. So I went to Australia, to England, and a couple of other countries. I actually went to Germany, to be honest.
Oh wow.
Also for sprint kayaking to Bochum. Yeah.
Bochum.
Yeah.
Bochum. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
I heard it's not the most beautiful or best place in
It's not.
in Germany. But I spent some time in Bochum, so I did an international regatta there.
Yeah.
But to get back to my story, I spent about 6 months just focusing on sprint kayaking in Pretoria. And in my time doing that, I realized that there's not too much of a future, obviously, in sprint kayaking, as in money-wise. And CrossFit was just starting to emerge. And CrossFit was the one way in which you could open your own business, being a CrossFit box, and then that's a good way for you to obviously be able to earn income in fitness. Whereas the other normal path would normally have just been personal training.
Yeah.
But personal training kind of levels you because you have to work a shit ton of hours to be able to make more money. Whereas if at a CrossFit gym, you're basically just limited by the amount of members you have.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's one way in which I saw myself being able to earn more money in fitness. And then another way that I found CrossFit is I just obviously saw the CrossFit games on YouTube. And I was a competitive sporting guy as is. So I wanted to basically, I was looking for something else to compete in after sprint kayaking. And then CrossFit looked to me like competing in gym, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like because I enjoyed gym and stuff, and obviously everyone likes aesthetics. So then I saw CrossFit as a sport in which I could do well in, compete in, and then still obviously look good in.
Yeah.
And then a friend of mine, Francois, we studied together. He basically introduced me to CrossFit. He took me to a gym and showed me the gym that he trained at.
Yeah.
And then for probably about a month and a half after that, I didn't do much CrossFit at a gym. I just did my own training. And then when I went back to Durban, I started doing CrossFit at a gym there. And then from there, it basically just took off. Yeah, one step led to the next, and here we are.
But then from Durban to Asia, what was that journey?
Yeah, so Durban to Asia. So there's a couple of steps before that still.
Yeah,
So from Pretoria, I moved back to Durban. I started CrossFit at a gym called CrossFit Durbs. So basically, it was a new.
Durbs is like the slang for Durban people.
For Durban, basically, yeah.
Oh, okay.
So South Africa's got lots of slang, man. Durban people have their own slang. Joburg people have their own slang.
Oh, wow.
Cape Town people have their own slang.
Yeah.
So I trained there for about 8 months to a year, and then me and a friend of mine, Russell, we decided to open our gym up a gym together. So I wanted to open my own gym. He wanted to open his own gym. We decided to do it together. So then we opened CrossFit Shumba, which is called. So Shumba is basically the Shona word for lion. So basically it's CrossFit Lion, just in a different language. Yeah. So we ended up opening CrossFit Shumba, and then I trained at CrossFit Shumba and obviously coached there for 3 years. And then after about 3 years, me and my girlfriend at the time, Lizelle, which is obviously now my fiance, we decided to go to the Canton Fair, which was in China. It's the biggest import-export fair in the world. So I wanted to do the socks. So you see me wearing funky socks.
Yeah.
That's obviously our one brand is Predator. So that's the funky socks. So I wanted to start the funky socks about 7 years ago. And
produced in China, imported and then
imported into South Africa. Because the thing is, in South Africa, they don't have the right machines to produce the quality socks that you can obviously make in China.
So all socks in South Africa smell.
Hey?
They smell bad or what?
Smell like ass. No, so the socks, the quality itself is good, but they can't actually print on the socks. Yeah. So the machine that they use to print, they don't have in South Africa. So they can still make good quality socks. It's just a different quality. So ours is more comb cotton, so it's more comfortable. Yeah. Whereas if you want to print in South Africa, it has to be, they can't actually print, to be honest. It's more woven polyester, so it's a more uncomfortable sock. Yeah. But so then we went to the Canton Fair. She wanted to import some fitness clothes, and I wanted to import socks. So we went there, and then we went back to South Africa. The first night we went for steak when we got back to South Africa, because we obviously, after having Chinese food for like 2 weeks, we missed steak. So
of course.
We went for a big steak, and then that night we decided that like the travel bug had bitten us, and we wanted to rather leave everything in South Africa and then leave for whichever country is next. So then we sold up everything in South Africa, and we left for Thailand with no plan.
What about your gym?
So that also I sold to my partner.
Okay.
To Russell.
Your share or whatever.
Yeah. No, at the moment I'm not a shareholder at all.
Yeah.
So he's running the gym by himself in South Africa. He's got coaches working for him. So the gym is still operational. It's grown from strength to strength from what I can see. And there's a couple of other parts to the gym now, which is pretty cool. Yeah. They've moved it from the spot that it was at to another spot. But the gym is still ongoing. But we basically decided to sell everything, sell the cars, sell the businesses, whatever, and then just leave South Africa.
So your entire life into a rucksack, backpack, and then
basically,
into the plane.
Yeah. So we didn't have any plan. So our plan was so everyone obviously asked us what our plan was, and the easiest answer was just to say that we're going to teach English.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And like that wasn't really if you know me as a person, like I'm probably not going to ever want to teach English to anyone.
Yeah.
So. That was probably never a reality. It was just like a bit of a smokescreen for us to put up while people are asking all these questions. Because obviously, like all our family and friends are asking how we could leave our businesses and lives behind in South Africa.
Yeah.
But then without a plan, we went to Thailand. We traveled through, we did actually a bit of Phuket, but a couple of the other islands like Koh Samui, those islands. And then I spent some time in the Soy. So there's a street in Phuket called, it's just basically we call it the Soy. Soy is street in Thai. And it's basically a fitness street. It's called Soy Thai Iad. Now I remember, Soy Thai Iad. It's a fitness street in Thailand, which is like 14 gyms basically on it. So it's got Muay Thai gyms, CrossFit gyms, functional fitness gyms, bunch of different gyms. Yeah. So we ended up finding that street. We trained there for a short while at Tiger Muay Thai, which is probably the biggest Muay Thai gym in the world.
Yeah.
But we were doing CrossFit training, not Muay Thai. And then from there, we traveled to a couple other countries like Vietnam, Singapore, and all over the place in Southeast Asia. And then we actually ended up being in Bangkok for a while, where we worked at Training Ground 69, which is it's probably the biggest gym, I would say, in Asia, to be honest, the biggest CrossFit gym, as in size-wise. It's massive.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a pretty epic setup. So we coached there for 3 months, and then we got an opportunity to go and coach in Phuket. And obviously, if you get the chance to live island life, you rather choose the island life.
Yeah, of course.
So that's basically how we made our way into Asia. I know I expanded on the story, but that's basically the long version of it.
I mean, that's I want to know how you got there. No, because the connection from South Africa to Asia is not really a common.
It's not a quick connection.
No, it's not at all. Even if you want to fly, right? So you would fly via Saudi Arabia, I guess, right? So it is a long flight.
Yeah, it's basically like 2 8-hour flights at least. But so we ended up in Thailand, and that's where we stayed for the last 3 years.
Yeah.
We traveled quite a bit from Thailand, so we did lots of other countries from Thailand, which was awesome. So we basically spent the last, I would say, 4 years of our lives based in Phuket, but then also traveling to as many other countries as we could in that time.
Okay, so Phuket was your base, so to say.
Yeah, okay. That was a base, and we're obviously bound by our working hours. So when we had to work, we had to work. But the time that we had off, we made use of it quite well.
And then Bandung happened.
Yeah, so before Bandung, we kind of so we had decided that we wanted to travel through Europe probably about three years ago, I would say. And then we got stuck in Phuket for a while. We decided to obviously live there for the last 3 years. And then we decided to book our trip to Europe. And the day before we were supposed to fly out to Europe, Corona hit. And then Italy went into lockdown. Yeah. And Italy was the country that we were supposed to fly into. So then we got stuck in Phuket, which obviously isn't the worst place to be stuck in. It's still beautiful and it's an amazing place. And we definitely want to go back there at some stage and go and live there for another couple of years. But we were stuck there for an extra 2 months. And after the 2 months, we were lucky enough to fly into Germany. Yeah. So we made our way into Germany. And we traveled from Germany all the way through the Netherlands, down into Belgium, France, then Spain. We went all the way down to Portugal. And then all the way back up again through Switzerland into Germany. And then back up to Hamburg.
And all that during the lockdown?
All that during a lockdown. We were lucky, man.
Spreading the virus.
Exactly. We did our best to spread the virus.
Brilliant.
So we're actually very lucky. We traveled to, I think, like 14 countries in total, or possibly a little bit less, maybe 12 or 11, during the COVID time without having to quarantine once, which was amazing.
Yeah.
So that was great. Obviously, we have our respect for the virus and everything, but having lived in Phuket and having been exposed to the virus through Chinese New Year, I'm pretty sure we picked the virus up right in the beginning of COVID. So
you think you had it already?
I'm pretty sure me and my fiance both had it, yeah.
With like any symptoms you remember?
Yeah, she had some weird thing with the lungs, so she couldn't breathe too well. Wow. And then like she wasn't deadly sick, but she just couldn't breathe well. She said there's something wrong with the lungs. Like she wanted to go for a checkup. And then 2 weeks later, I got a weird thing where when I tried to breathe in deeply, I would just cough. So I also wasn't sick, but I just couldn't breathe properly. Yeah. So, and that's obviously not something we've had before. And that's right in the beginning of COVID. And then obviously we started hearing a bit more about COVID from there. I'm pretty sure we did pick it up right in the beginning. And I'm pretty sure we would have had it somewhere along the line. I mean, it's pretty impossible for us not to have traveled that much and to be exposed to that many people and not have it.
Oh, interesting. Okay. So then after Germany, so in Germany you moved around Europe, but then what brought you back? I mean, other than the lockdown. Well, I mean, or what brought you here?
To Bandung, yeah. So then from Germany, we actually went to Portugal, spent a month with our friends Chad and Lisa in Portugal. And then from Portugal, we flew out to South Africa. then we spent some time in South Africa. We actually traveled down from Durban to Cape Town, so a bit more traveling.
Yeah.
And then we settled in Durban for a couple of months. We actually bought a house in Durban, which my fiance is busy renovating as is. She's actually almost done. And the house was a complete shit show. Like the pool had books and glass and bricks, all kinds of stuff in it. And it looked like a swamp. And now everything looks brand new. So
is it in the outskirts of Durban, or where is it?
it's actually in Durban North. So Durban North is like it's a good area in Durban. And then the road that we're on is Old Millway, which is a very good road in Durban North. So we are very lucky to grab it because it was obviously in such a poor quality, in such a poor state. But then I spent a month and a half or so working on it with, obviously, I think we had about 14 workers or whatever working for us, helping us renovate. And then now for the last 2.5, 3 months while I was here, my fiance has been working hard with the guys back in Durban.
Okay.
So yeah, we're probably just going to rent it out, to be honest.
Oh yeah, okay, cool. So which means she's coming here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So basically that happened. And then, so that was the one commitment. And then I spoke to Dave. Actually, I messaged Dave. So Dave Driscoll is the owner of CrossFit Wanderlust in Bali. And I messaged him while we're still traveling through South Africa. And I said to him, if he has anything available, he must let me know, because we want to try and get back into Southeast Asia, because we obviously love Asia and we still want to keep on traveling. And for us to be able to travel right now is quite impossible.
You knew him from Phuket or from?
I knew him from Phuket firstly. So he came to Phuket to do some training with the Reebok crew. So they normally have like a Reebok athlete summit.
Reebok is like number one in CrossFit, right?
It was, yeah.
All right, okay.
So basically Reebok was, now a brand called Noble has taken over the lead sponsorship role of CrossFit. So they're the new CrossFit brand. But I mean, Nike, Reebok, Noble, all those brands are obviously massive in CrossFit. But I would say the more liked one at the moment is Noble, because it was born in the CrossFit space.
Okay.
It wasn't like some random brand that just started making CrossFit shoes. They were born from CrossFit. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I knew him from Phuket, and then I also knew him from regionals. So regionals was like, it's a step just before the games. And there's 8 regionals around the world. And I qualified for the Pacific region, which is the Asia top 40 athletes from Asia and Australia combined. So basically 10 from Asia and then 30 from Australia. And we competed in Sydney. And his girlfriend at that time was also competing. So we met each other there again, had a bit of a chat. And obviously he's a nice guy. So a very likable character. Got a great beard.
I've seen it.
So then, we chatted there. And then, I just messaged Dave, because obviously if you want to work in a tropical paradise, there's 2 options. You can either go to Bali or you can work in Phuket, basically. So there are a couple of other outliers, but mostly those are the 2. And Dave is a good, well-connected guy in Bali. So I messaged him, I would say like in October last year, so quite a while ago. And I said to him, if he knows of anything, he must just let me know, because we're trying to get back into Asia. And obviously without a work permit right now, it was almost impossible to get into Asia. So then he said to me he might have something coming up in the next couple of months. Then we didn't talk again until about February, I think, of this year. And then he messaged me and basically told me that he's got a spot open in Bandung, opening a new gym. And if I'd want to come and basically just manage the gym up here.
So going into Bandung, what is your first impression?
First impressions. So the first 2 days, I would say, I was like, this is a shithole. At first, just because I love nature, man. So for me, I didn't see the hills and everything else, the hot springs and stuff surrounding Bandung. Obviously Googled it, but on Google and YouTube, you can only find so much. So at first I thought, no, this must be a shithole. Like, I don't think we're going to live here for very long. And then after a couple of days, I saw the mountains surrounding it. It looked quite cool and looked like it could be a nice place to explore. And I do enjoy Bandung. I think I'm going to enjoy it a lot more once my fiance comes over.
Yeah, of course.
Because I kind of keep to myself. So when I do things without her, it's been mostly by myself. I do some stuff with Ramon and Lil, the 2 guys that I train with. But apart from that, I mostly keep to myself. So I think once she comes, we're obviously going to start exploring quite a bit more. And we've got like this deal with Dave where we work 4 weeks on, 1 week off. So that's basically the thing that sold us to come and work in Bandung. Because obviously we were trying to go and work in Bali and spend some more time on an island. And for us to stay in Bandung, it's not too bad to stay here for 4 weeks and then have a week to go and travel to Bali or wherever else for right now.
Yeah.
Like we still obviously want to do Korea, Japan. We haven't done those countries, so those are also on our list.
I will at some point, if you're up for it. I think I mentioned it to you already.
Yeah.
Introduce you to the hash group. You know, the hiking.
Yeah, I've heard about it before. Yeah.
Yeah, this is a very it's a it could be a nice I don't know how do you say counterbalancing thing to CrossFit, because you're walking or running or at whatever pace you like through the forest, in the hills, up and down through fields. And like you're in direct contact with nature, so it doesn't get any more nature, and sometimes even in the middle of a rainforest. So it's
for sure.
Yeah, it's a good thing. You should definitely try this out. For me, this is also the main reason why I stay here in Bandung, because you have this sort of subtropical climate. It's not really tropical because of the. This is like here we're like pretty much 1,000 meters above sea level.
Yeah.
And you can feel it, right? This is not the same as Bali.
A little cooler, actually much cooler. Yeah,
much cooler. I don't know what was Durban like. Is it also very
Durban?
hot?
Yeah, Durban is pretty much like so in summer I would say it's very similar to Bali and to Phuket, where it's a tropical climate. Like you get some hot weather. It's very humid, and then in winter it doesn't get cold, but it gets cool. So you'd wear like a hoodie every now and again, a jacket. We don't really wear long pants, to be honest. Like I'll probably wear long pants like 4 times a year in Durban, if that. I'm not really a long pants guy, but if you wake up at 4:30 in the morning and stuff to go coaching, then sometimes tracksuit pants do help in winter. But our winter is pretty cool in South Africa. In Durban, it's not cold. Like I said, it's nice and cool. So it's actually quite chilly, and then there's no wind, which means the evenings are beautiful. So the sea is flat and everything's beautiful, man. Yeah.
You obviously have the sunset and the beach there, right? This is like a big plus. Like here, I mean, on a plus side, you get the volcano. I mean, if you enjoy volcanoes, or like the tea fields and a little bit more greenery,
for sure,
nature. But I mean, I can introduce you to some other places, maybe some more people if you like.
For sure,
it is not the same as Bali with Ubud and all these beautiful mountain ranges, but you get. I mean, Java has are you into climbing or? So this is something you can do here a lot.
No, for sure. So I've actually. I've eyed like a couple of the mountains that I've seen in Java. So I saw there's one that you can do like a 3-day trip. So we're definitely gonna do that at some stage. Sorry?
With tour guides where you go up at night. And then you wake up, or you arrive like 4 or 5 in the morning, and then you see the
sunrise.
It's incredible. Very beautiful.
From what I've seen on YouTube, it looks pretty cool. So that's the one thing that we want to try and get into, is obviously a bit more hiking. So first impressions of Bandung is Bandung seems like a pretty cool city with like it's hip and happening with all the musicians obviously on the roads. Like instead of begging, they play music. Not the most beautiful music always, but
no, not necessarily.
But at least they try. There's a lot of coffee shops. I love coffee, so that's obviously great.
Oh, that's good.
So that's one positive.
And local coffee here. I mean, there's tons of choice for local beans. I mean, I get my beans here from a local farmer, and I grind them in the morning, and then I just brew it up, and it's just really, really good.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'll get the farmer's details from you.
Yeah, I can. No problem at all. I can supply you with whatever you need. You know?
Yeah, so please, man.
This is the thing here. If you know people, you can get anything.
Yeah,
no problem,
for sure.
No problem whatsoever. So let's jump right into CrossFit. So I used to wrestle. I used to do Muay Thai, sort of fighting sports and gym. So now thanks to you and Wanderlust, I discovered CrossFit. I've noticed CrossFit. I've watched those videos also on YouTube, and I thought it was not really appealing because you can see how much everyone's suffering, right?
No, for sure.
But and that kind of held me back, because in the gym you do live a sort of comfortable. Like it's sort of comfortable doing gym, right?
It's very comfortable. You do what you want to do.
But if you're honest to yourself, it's not really sport.
For sure.
You know? But the same goes for marathon running. It just ruins your joints. So and I don't want to do that either. And then when I saw CrossFit and I tried it out in your gym, I thought this is the perfect compromise. This is pure fitness, right? This is exactly what you want to be. You want to be fit. You don't want to look like a Michelin guy on steroids. But also you don't want to be like a skeleton that can barely lift
the bottle.
Exactly.
Exactly.
So, and I think this is perfect. So from your point of view, what do you think is the main benefit of CrossFit?
So I have CrossFit for. So obviously, CrossFit as a sport and CrossFit as a fitness methodology are two completely different things. So
Okay.
if you do it as a sport, you're spending like 5 hours a day training. So obviously that's a lot of time training. And doing any sports at a high level is not healthy.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
obviously I'm a healthy guy. I try to be as healthy as possible. I eat a lot healthier than most other people.
Yeah.
I don't drink much. From time to time I enjoy like red wine, but I don't drink too much. But obviously it takes its toll on your joints and everything else. So training 5 hours with any sport is not going to be healthy at the end of the day. But we're not trying to be healthy. We're trying to obviously achieve as much as we can and try to get as much out of our bodies as possible.
Yeah.
Whereas if you do it as a fitness methodology and you're going to a gym and spending 1 hour, let's say, or 1.5, 2 hours at a CrossFit gym doing the normal class, and then like you do on Mondays and Wednesdays, you add the Olympic lifting.
Yeah.
Like the Olympic lifting class is 1 hour of, let's say, 30 minutes of technique work and 15 minutes of heavy lifting with some warm up obviously thrown in there too. So it's not like you're just doing high intensity heavy lifting for 1 hour. So as a fitness methodology, I would say it's amazing just for all around fitness, because obviously like trying to stay healthier and stay fit obviously into your 80s and 90s. And then also for mobility and strength, because a lot of people once they get older, their mobility obviously goes to shit. So they struggle to go and take a seat on a couch, or they struggle to take a seat in the toilet. Whereas with CrossFit, we obviously focus on a full range of motion when it comes to squatting, which will help you once you get older to obviously be strong in that range of motion, which means that you can actually go and sit down once you get older.
On the toilet.
Exactly. You don't have to crash down onto the toilet and squash your ball sack as you do it.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, I
So
mean, if that's a purpose,
if you got that big of a ball sack, then it's great. So that's so one benefit, fitness. Other benefit, mobility, because obviously you do get more mobile as you obviously go through those ranges of motion, and then like I said, the strength through that range of motion. So those are some of the benefits if you're looking at longevity. Then also you just create a community. So most CrossFit gyms are built around a community. So there's a big community aspect in the CrossFit gyms, which means that you'll most likely end up spending a lot less time with your other mates and start spending a lot more time with your CrossFit friends, to be honest. So you do build an amazing community while doing CrossFit too. So there are a bunch of benefits, mostly being fitness and health related. And obviously the social part of it is also pretty epic.
What I find interesting for myself at least is the mental aspect. Because it is a nerve sport. You need to be able to repeatedly activate your fibers.
For sure.
Without and basically battling against yourself. Because your body is trying to shut you down or sit you down, basically. To not do it. And that I think is something that improved most in my case over the last couple of weeks. Whereas if I get good sleep, I can do a great session. I feel great afterwards, and I don't feel too exhausted. And if I squeeze it, I realize even though I'm almost dying, there's still reserves. You know?
Exactly.
And I think
you can still move a bit faster.
And this is the thing. This is the fascinating part. Have you heard of that rule? This 60-40 rule by this Marine dude who said, "Oh, there's always 60% more. Most people are only able to access 40% of their actual strength, but then there's another
the actual potential.
But then the actual potential is like another 1.x on top of that. And I think I can now get a glimpse of it. Because when I used to wrestle in the past, because wrestling is also very hard. But when you're a teenager, nothing's hard.
I know, for sure.
You can train forever. You know,
exactly.
It makes no difference really.
You recover so quick too.
But when you're in the 40s like me,
different story.
Very different story. I can feel it. Like what do you think about the suffering part? I mean, how do you suffer? I mean, I've seen you doing your camera competition thingy.
So you saw me suffering there.
So what do you do to overcome or to fight against your own inner?
So basically, obviously it helps being fit. So if you prepare, then you know that you're ready for the workout, you're ready for the competition. So you know you can always obviously push a little bit harder. But then like you can be as fit as you want to be, but there's always going to be that small voice in your head saying that like put the barbell down or go slower, you know. It's always difficult to fight that voice. So for me, the main thing is basically just to try and overcome that voice. Like it's very difficult, I think, at first, because you obviously you pretty much have never done that before in your life if you haven't really done high level sports where you push your heart rate to the limit, you know. So luckily I came from sprint kayaking, like I said. With sprint kayaking, we do 200, 500 and 1,000 meter sprints. So then obviously you get your heart rate real high. Like you have to push through a whole bunch of hurt to try and get the race done and try and do as well as you can. So I think there I already built a bit of a mental block. So that obviously helped me going from sprint kayaking into CrossFit to get mentally stronger. And then in CrossFit itself, it's basically just how bad you want it, to be honest. Like if it's really important to you and it's in a competition, you're gonna go as hard as you can, and try and just block out that little voice saying that you need to rest and you need to go slower. So for me, it's still hard to obviously overcome the mental aspect, but I know that I'm gonna reap the rewards of my efforts if I do push through a little bit harder and a little bit longer, you know.
So what's the highest you ever got in your competition?
So it's difficult to like measure them up. So let's say in South Africa, I think the highest I've been is second in South Africa, if I remember correctly. And then
for the nationals or the regionals.
Yeah, in the CrossFit Open. In the CrossFit Open. Okay. So I think I came second in South Africa, and then in second or third. I'm not too sure. That was probably about 5 or 6 years ago. So second or third. And then there's another, like I said, the regionals. The regionals, I've competed at 3 regionals, and at the first regionals in Africa, I came 8th. I think it was. That was in 2014, if I remember correctly. And so I came 8th there, which is my best finish at a regionals. But then I made it to the European region, and the European region at that stage was a lot harder than the African region because it was Africa, UAE, and Europe combined.
Okay.
So it's a lot of good athletes in one region. And I think I came 19th there, which is the best finish I've had there. And that was with me tearing a ligament in one event, and like I didn't have the best competition at all. So I've had a bad run with injuries. I would say probably in the first 4 years of my CrossFit career, or even longer. I would say the first 5 or 6 years, not because of CrossFit. So a lot of people say that you obviously get injured and CrossFit injures you and all that. It's basically just, it was me pushing my body to the limit, but without obviously replenishing my body like I should have.
Okay.
So I wasn't sleeping as much as I needed because I was waking up at 20 past 4 in the mornings to go and coach my first class at our gym. I was not sleeping enough, not eating anywhere near enough.
You pushed it too far, basically.
Basically, I pushed it as far as I should have pushed it, but without recovering. I just wasn't recovering as much as I should have, and lucky I was young in the beginning, so I didn't get injured in the beginning. But after a couple of years, obviously it starts adding up, and as you get older, my joints started going to shit. So that's why I started getting knee problems. But you live and you learn. So I've obviously learned through those experiences. But it was basically just me not eating enough. Like I was eating like 2,700 calories, where I was burning 5,000 calories. So it's not a very good place to be in. Like that's a pretty solid calorie deficit, you know. So I was very lean, which is great.
Yeah, exactly. But on the other hand, you do want to have low body fat, right? In order to be able to compete.
You want to have low body fat, but you want to be at a. But I would say you probably want to have a slight calorie surplus if you're trying to compete at a high level. So you want to take in a bit more than you should, just to make sure that you have the energy. Obviously, that you need for heavy lifts and for long workouts. Because if you're going to be training between 3 and 5 hours a day, it does take a lot out of your body. So and obviously the best ways to replenish your energy is good sleep, good nutrition, all that kind of shit.
Yeah, sleep. I mean, I can confirm. Like I experienced recently when I had 2 bad nights. And then training afterwards, it's just didn't work at all.
Oh yeah, no, for sure, man.
And yesterday I had a nice 2-hour sleep after lunch. And yesterday it felt really easy.
If you have a great sleep, then like the whole day feels amazing, man. Training goes so well. So if I go to sleep at 9 and I wake up at, let's say, 6 p.m. so solid 9 hours sleep, or even 6:30, 7 p.m. so between 9 and 10 hours, that's amazing. Like, but that only happens like once every 2 or 3 weeks for me. So I would love that to happen every night. But I'm still trying to get consistency in my sleep. It's quite tough now, obviously, being in Bandung. Like, the bed is not the best quality bed that I'm sleeping on at the moment, because it's at an apartment which is not long term. It's just like a short term apartment. The pillow is shit. Like there's a lot of city noise that comes up. The the curtains aren't blackout, so there's a lot of city light. I had to stick like tape on the aircon and on the fire alarm because there was lights flashing in my eyes and shit at night.
So you're fairly sensitive to these things, or?
Yeah, the thing is, like, ideally, when you want to have good sleep, you want to try and create the best environment for you to sleep well, which means a quiet environment, which is blacked out completely and which is cool, you know.
Yeah.
So, and obviously with a great bed and a great pillow.
You should try it out up here, and I sleep a million times better.
Oh, I can imagine, man. I can imagine that it's a lot quieter and also obviously a lot cooler. And I'm sure, you also sleep probably with your doors open.
Everything open.
And no aircon.
Oh well, I mean, I keep the doors shut because you don't want to get stung by mosquitoes.
My muzzies,
So
muzzies are the worst, man.
Oh, so you have a cup? Okay, great.
Thank you, man.
So now, okay, I'm a beginner, right? And let's say a bloody beginner, someone who's not been doing any sports, maybe a bit of running or basically not really doing anything focused. What is your recommendation for CrossFit? Like, is it just jumping in, or should you prepare or kind of do something prior to joining class?
Yeah, so basically people have this thing where you say to them, oh, so you're going to come and join the gym. And then they say to you, I need to get strong and fit first. It's like the whole reason for you joining a gym is to get strong and fit. So like us as coaches help you to get stronger and fitter. And you've seen that like CrossFit is universally scalable. So if someone can't do a power clean, so that's an Olympic lifting movement for those who don't know, then obviously we can scale it to either dumbbell power clean or we can make them do a med ball power clean. So there's many different variations of the movement which we can give them, whether they're complete beginners or whether they're elite athletes. Anyone can do the same workout, just at different levels, you know. So what I'd say is they must come straight to the gym, jump straight into the classes, and try and hit 4 times a week. So if you're doing 4 times a week, you're probably gonna see best results from that. Like a lot of people try and do 2 or 3 times a week, and you will obviously see some results, and some movement is still better than no movement. But if you want to see the best results, I'd recommend 4 times a week. And like I said, you don't need to be strong or fit to come to CrossFit. The whole reason for us having a gym and coaching is to make you stronger and fitter. So what you see on YouTube is not what you're going to do obviously in the classes. That's a CrossFit Games levels athletes at the highest level. So it's a complete different story.
How did you get you're a trainer. Do you need to be certified, or do you have a trainer course, or how does it work to become a trainer?
So before I did my CrossFit level 1, so basically CrossFit has different level courses. So they have level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4. Level 1 and level 2 you basically do to still just coach at gyms. Level 3 and level 4 you do mostly just to become CrossFit seminar staff. So basically, if you're a CrossFit seminar staff, it means that you go around the world coaching the level 1, what do you call it, like level 1 classes.
You become a trainer.
Yeah, you become a trainer. So basically, you coach the coaches. And so for most of us, we just want to get up to level 2, and that's where we want to remain. But obviously, if you want to climb the hierarchy in CrossFit, then you can do level 3, level 4.
Because I've seen it gets very theoretical. Those videos on YouTube, they go very deep on biochemistry, right? It's very interesting.
Yeah, no, for sure. Like you can like geek out quite a bit in all the movements, obviously. For us as coaches, we try not to keep it as simple as possible. So as a CrossFit coach, you shouldn't ever teach in muscle groups. So if someone starts talking about like activating the glutes and activating their psoas or whatever it might be. So I'm just naming random stuff here. Then you know that they're most likely trying to knowledge bomb you and trying to sound clever. Like a coach should try and make it as simple as possible for the normal person to understand. So we should try keep it as simple as possible. So even though those videos are out there for us to educate ourselves, we should not use those videos, those terms to educate the members. The members should just come to a great class, enjoy the class, not give a shit about which muscle they're working. They must just know that they're squatting and it's helping them build bigger legs and stronger legs, you know?
What is your least favorite exercise? Roping?
That's a tough one, man. Yeah, it's a difficult one. I would say right now it's probably rowing.
Rowing?
Yeah, rowing used to be one of my more favorite exercises. But when we started traveling, I didn't, like, obviously in lockdown in Thailand for 2 months, I didn't have a rower to row on.
Oh, okay.
Then we traveled through Europe for 3 months. I didn't touch a rower. Then I trained in South Africa for another 5 months, and my friend's gym didn't have a rower there. So, and that's basically a home gym he's got set up in his office. So for basically about the last 8 or 9 months, I didn't touch a rower before the competition started about 2 months ago.
Yeah.
So right now I'm suffering the most on a rower just because that's the one I haven't really done most.
But it also does burn, like, by far most calories within a certain time, right?
Yeah, it depends on. So basically, if you say, I would say the rower is probably the better one to burn calories on. If you say you want to burn calories over 20 minutes or over 30 minutes. If you want to burn calories right now, like on a machine, I would say, and sprint it, I would say assault bike. Just because if you sprint, the calories tick over quicker on the assault bike. Because you're obviously putting a massive intensity on the assault bike. It all depends though also how big you are, because both those ergs, so most ergs, like a ski erg, a rower, assault bike, they're called ergs. So those machines, they burn calories faster and you go faster if you're a bigger and a stronger guy.
Yeah.
So that's why small ladies struggle so much, is because they don't have too much weight to put behind it.
Yeah.
So they're small and they don't weigh much.
Okay, fascinating. So, and then we haven't done all the exercise or the potential exercises yet, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I have not climbed the rope yet.
Yeah. So
when is that happening?
So that'll probably happen soon. So
is that like an advanced level thing?
No. So basically, everyone in a CrossFit gym could be climbing a rope.
Okay.
So it's not just for the elite athletes. So we are definitely going to climb the ropes because CrossFit has so many different movements, and because obviously most of the members at this gym at the moment are brand new to functional fitness. Yeah. We have to try and work it out well over some time. Yeah. So we have to obviously progress with one certain movement and then with two certain movements over a couple of weeks, build people up to a point where they're more efficient at that movement before you start focusing on too many. Yeah. So like you saw the last 3 weeks, you guys have focused quite a bit on handstand work to get more comfortable being upside down. So you guys can start working on handstand push-ups. Because once you can start doing handstand push-ups, the workouts become a bit more fun. Then obviously the Olympic lifting classes, that's where we touch on the cleans and the snatches and the jerks. So that'll also get you more efficient there. So most likely in the next week or two, you'll start seeing rope climbs popping in as a strength, but just as a skill, where we teach you guys to basically where to put your feet in. And we basically start you from a box. So you start seated on a box, just work on a foot positioning. Then you work on a foot positioning and trying to fully extend. And then you start climbing from there.
I've ordered my set of shoes already.
Oh, nice, man.
Yeah. So
which ones did you order?
Forgot. It's some black ones. It's my
nice. Black. That's good.
Black
shoes. That's great.
It's not Nike. I was trying to get the Nike ones, but the guy didn't have it. And then he gave me some others, and it had a weird name.
Yeah.
Forgot.
Not Reebok or
no, not Reebok. No, like one of those other brands. Like I think it's a CrossFit brand.
Noble.
Maybe it is Noble. I think it was Noble.
Could be Noble.
Yeah.
And
I thought they have the right look. I mean, they felt right to me to buy. Anyway, so now this constant variety thing is the whole point of CrossFit, I guess, right? Because you in a normal gym, or if you do a sort of niche sport like paddling or canoeing, where you basically just do the same movement over and over again, which is the whole purpose, right? You want to be as good as possible in that one thing, whereas CrossFit is the complete opposite. So
for sure.
Like how important is variety and how important is strength? If you compare these two.
So I would say variety is important, but some people see the constantly varied part of CrossFit as us when we program, just throwing a bunch of random shit into a workout, and then we keep on changing it as much as we can, like week in and week out. But when we do actually program for you guys, we program a strength cycle. So you guys will work on like an 8-week strength cycle, where at the moment you guys would have seen that on Mondays you do front squats the one Monday, the next Monday you do back squats. So there's still some plan to your program. So it is varied, as in you do different movements every single day and you do them in different rep ranges. So we do keep it varied, but there is still a plan to it. So it's not just like a random mixture of shit that we throw together and we hope it works out to be a good workout. Like everything is still structured and planned.
Okay.
But the workouts themselves are quite varied. So I would say it's good to keep it varied, because obviously if you, like you've noticed, when you go to the gym and you do chest every single Tuesday and you do the same shit every single Tuesday.
You program yourself.
Yeah, you do, exactly. You program yourself, you do the same thing every single Tuesday, your body gets used to it.
Yeah.
So obviously keeping it varied keeps your body on its toes.
Yeah.
So you need to kind of adapt.
Yeah, I can feel it. I mean, I get sore muscles.
Yeah.
Still.
You'll probably still get sore muscles for the next 3 weeks, and then you'll like occasionally get sore muscles from there. Like I'm still sore now, man. My biceps are sore because we did some what do we do? I think legless rope climbs yesterday, and like if you do high volume pulling, then obviously my biceps are still sore, man. So your body does get used to it, but it's still, if let's say I'm used to doing 80 pull-ups in a day, if one day I do 140 and I do them in big sets, I'm still going to be sore. So it's good to constantly vary it, because obviously you keep your body on its toes, and that's the way that you keep your body changing. But it is also important to have a plan. So if
as a trainer, to kind of get your students where they should.
Exactly, yeah. Because the thing is, we want to keep things fun, so that's where the constantly varied is pretty cool. But also, if you have a membership base that are living in the city, which means that they will keep on coming to the same gym and to us, then you want to see them progress in all those movements. So then it doesn't help that we're just throwing random movements obviously into a Monday. So let's say Monday we do power cleans, the next Monday we do back squats, the Monday after that you press, and then for 3 weeks you haven't squatted. Like we want to make sure that there's obviously some sort of progress, that you guys can also see your progress and see your strength levels increase. And especially now, because all the members are basically new to CrossFit, so they need to obviously learn all the movements from scratch. So there's a lot of planning there, where we can't just chuck random movements all in one workout. We have to kind of plan to have one complex movement, so that we can spend our time explaining that movement, making sure everyone's moving safely, and then doing the workout safely, rather than doing snatches, overhead squats, and then burpee bar muscle ups in the workout. So there's too many complex movements there, and it's not going to obviously move anyone forward.
Shortly after I started going to the gym, so I haven't been to the gym for a long time, and then 2016 I went to the gym for like a couple of months, 5 months, and then I thought, this is kind of silly, because you're not really, it's not really functional training. I mean, you of course get stronger, you increase your muscle mass, and you get more fit and all that, but it's sort of silly strength in a way, if you think about it. But then I discovered Muay Thai. Now with Muay Thai, I realized, because I cracked my ribs all the time, and I hit my feet against elbows, and it's a hell of a pain. And now with CrossFit, the worst thing that can happen is like falling off a box.
Exactly, which you did twice.
Or twice
in one workout.
And but that again, like I guess anyone who's looking into something of high intensity, but at the same time trying to build up some physique, I guess CrossFit is just
for
the
sure.
right thing.
So the thing is, people will start CrossFit to aim for a physique, so for aesthetics, but then they start aiming more towards, like, so us as CrossFitters, we aim for performance, not really for aesthetics, and then the aesthetics follows performance. So the stronger you get and the fitter you get, the more muscles you have and the leaner you get. It's just science. So it's pretty simple, you know. And what I just thought about now is, the one thing that separates CrossFit and other functional fitness, so let's say, I wouldn't say functional fitness, I would say people that call themselves functional fitness, so more boot camp type training. So the difference between CrossFit and that is, we focus on good movement quality. So we focus on good deep squats, squatting in the right positions, making sure people move healthily and move well. Same with deadlifts, obviously picking a barbell up in the right way, picking kettlebells up in the right way. Whereas with boot camp, they basically just focus on moving as much as they can, burning as many calories as they can. So that's where CrossFit is a bit more focused on longevity, making sure that people move through the right range of motion in the right way and safely, whereas the other guys are just focused on, and I'm not saying everyone, obviously there are some bootcamp instructors which obviously do it right too, but mostly you'll just see them hopping up and down, doing half squats, that kind of stuff, not focusing on good movement quality.
Okay, so how important, because diet is the other half of the coin, right? It's the other side. Like,
no, for sure.
Like, what is your typical diet in terms of carbs and proteins? Like, what do you recommend? doing?
Yeah, so I recommend as balanced as possible. So you'll see there's lots of people that obviously recommend a high protein diet and very low carbs, and then there's some that obviously say carbs are great for you. Then there's a keto diet, which is more fats.
Yeah.
Then there's the diet that CrossFit obviously tells people to rather do, which is more just like natural. I would say it's basically like the caveman diet, so paleo, basically eating nuts, seeds, proteins, starches, but not too much starch. Mainly staying on the natural side. Yeah. So I basically would say try to keep it as natural as possible while keeping a balanced diet. So there's no need to go high protein. There's no need to go high carbs. There's no need to go high fats. Just basically eat a solid balance of those three things, and then just basically maintain that for the rest of your life. Like if you're gonna swing too much on the one side, then at some time in your life you're gonna have to compensate for it. And then obviously the coin's going to go the other way. So I would say just basically eat as balanced as you can. So eat a good amount of protein, a good amount of fat, and then a reasonable amount of carbs.
So you wouldn't want to go into a CrossFit session with a full stomach, right? You want to be
not full,
done digesting at that point. Right?
Yeah, I would say like if you're going to eat a big meal, probably like at least an hour before CrossFit, you should eat a big meal. You can eat a banana like within 10 minutes even before a session. So I would even like eat a banana mid-session sometimes, just because my sessions are a little bit longer, so I do get hungry throughout the sessions. But I would say any fruit, like I recommend this to anyone. Any fruit before a training session is great, like within even 10 minutes of the training session. But a big meal, ideally, obviously do that about an hour before, especially if it's spicy. Like you don't want to taste that shit mid-session.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
that's for sure.
Yeah, or when you start like borderline throwing up, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Ain't nobody wants to taste a curry twice. That's for sure.
Cool. Cool. That's all very fascinating. Wanderlust, so the gym.
Yeah.
What is it? I mean, they have they have 2 gyms or more. Is it?
Yeah. So at the moment there's Wanderlust. So I don't know the exact amounts and locations of all of them. So I know there's a couple of Wanderlust. So there's the main Wanderlust, which Dave started I think about 4.5-5 years ago. That's obviously in Canggu in Bali. It's a massive gym at the moment. So they actually got access to another, I would say, 700 square meters, so it's a massive facility at the moment. Wow. And then there's another Wanderlust fitness studio also in Bali. I don't know exactly where it is, but it's a smaller studio basically. And then there's Wanderlust in Australia, in what's that hippie town in Australia?
Melbourne.
No, not Melbourne, not the hippie city, like north of Sydney, close to
I'm not from Australia.
Man, when I give you the name, you'll see what I mean. But anyway, there's another Wanderlust there. So I don't know how much Dave really has to do with that Wanderlust, but there is another gym that's called Wanderlust in Australia. But the Wanderlust in Bali is the main Wanderlust, and at the moment they're building a pretty epic location there because they got the main gym. Then they have another small gym on the side where it's more like a boot camp style training facility, and also obviously CrossFit Kids is there, which is also pretty cool. Then they have a barber, they have a ice bath going in now, they have a small restaurant, and just on the other side of the gym, they've just been able to secure a property where it used to be a homestay. So now they're turning it into like a small Wanderlust hotel. So basically people can eat, sleep and train in the same facility. And then between the gym and the hotel, they're building a 25-meter pool.
Wow.
So it's going to be a massive facility, So
he's branching out in all sorts of different businesses around health. And,
man. So the thing is with a gym, if you have a gym and you do it well and you do it the way it should be done, then you build a brand, not just a gym. And you can obviously use the brand for many other products too. So they're branching out into supplements, so Wanderlust proteins and that kind of shit. They're branching out into, what else? I think the main thing is obviously the main new thing is the hotel. Then they've got a Wanderlust magazine that has just launched, I think, a week or 2 ago, which is basically like a Bali magazine. So that's also pretty cool. Yeah, print.
Really?
Yeah, so it's actually at all the cafes in Bali, because obviously there's a massive cafe culture in Bali. So it makes sense to have some sort of magazine there. So man, Dave is on his toes, that's for sure. He keeps the business growing. So Wanderlust is definitely growing in many different directions. Him and his partner Craig. So Craig is another guy that's involved with Wanderlust. And he's more on the business side of things,
Yeah.
whereas I think Dave is the creative.
Yeah.
He's the one who thinks of all the ideas.
Cool. Well, I definitely have to check out Wanderlust Bali next time I go there in June. Maybe next month. I'll be going there.
Oh, cool, man.
And apparently my membership allows me to do a few sessions over there, I guess.
Oh, nice. Yeah, it should.
Well,
I hope so.
According to Abbas. He told me.
Yeah.
I could do it.
Well, whatever Abbas says goes, I hope.
Yeah.
I think whatever Abbas says goes.
Yeah.
Then he has to go and quickly organize it for you.
Yeah, exactly. That's how it works.
He has to give Dave a call and organize that.
And is Dave coming over here to Bandung at some point again?
He should be coming. So when I go to South Africa for the competition now, he should be, it's either him or another guy, Sam, or one of the other coaches that will definitely be coming up. And I think they might actually rotate. So I think for one of the weeks when I'm away, Dave will definitely come up for about 3 or 4 days.
To train?
To coach, yeah.
To coach, I mean.
Yeah.
Okay.
So when I'm away, then another one of the international coaches from Wanderlust Bali should come up here and coach.
And this competition in South Africa, is it a regional or international one?
So it's called semi-finals. So basically, what's called the semi-finals now used to be the regionals back in the day.
Oh, okay.
So where there used to be 8 regionals, I think there's 8 semi-finals now, if I can remember correctly. And basically, that's the top
around
30,
the world.
Yeah, around the world.
Yeah.
So that's the top 30 or 40 athletes in that continent. So basically, we have an Africa continent. Then there's the European continent. Europe has 2 semi-finals. Then America, I think, has 3 or 4. So obviously, it's a massive. Yeah. Most of the CrossFit gyms are in America, so it makes sense. And then there's another one which is Pacific, so that's Australia, and then there's Asia also. So there's a couple of semi-finals. Yeah. It's basically the step just before the games.
So are you representing Asia or South Africa?
South Africa.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, South Africa. So at the moment, the rules have changed, and we represent our citizenship.
Oh, right. Okay.
So wherever we are a citizen, that's where we represent from.
Oh, right. Okay.
So at the moment, I'm South African, and then I compete in the Africa continent. Yeah. So it should be fun.
Oh, wow.
So if we basically in South Africa, because we don't have as many CrossFit athletes as America and as Europe, we have one qualifying spot. So basically, if you win the semi-final, you make it to the games.
I see.
Yeah.
So CrossFit now, has it reached mainstream already, or where is it in this whole cycle?
So I would say CrossFit don't want to be mainstream. So they don't want to be accepted in the mainstream. Let's put it that way. So they want to be obviously as well known as possible, as international as possible. Yeah. But I don't think the brand wants to be mainstream in a way like I don't know if you know Virgin Active. Like a Virgin Active. Or a so they want to make it easily accessible for everyone, but they don't want to make it standard across the whole world. So it's impossible to do.
It will never become an Olympic discipline or something.
No. And I doubt it'll ever become an Olympic discipline. Yeah. There's another thing called the International Fitness Federation, which I think they're actually trying to make it an Olympic sport. But the thing is, if you're going to make any sport an Olympic sport, there has to be a certain event which stays standard throughout the whole.
So you have to standardize it.
That's the thing.
And that's the thing. CrossFit, you cannot really.
You can't standardize it because then people will start training just those 4 or 5 or 6 events, and it'll remain just those events. Yeah. And that's the whole point of CrossFit, is keeping it constantly varied.
So how do you? So when you go into a competition, at what point do you know which exercises will there be?
So basically, for most competitions, normally we find out about, let's say, of the probably between 5 and 7 events. Of the 7 events, we probably find out about 2 or 3 beforehand. And then the rest we find out either on the day or the night before.
All right.
So
it's very short notice.
Very short notice. So you can't really train for it. Whereas this competition now, CrossFit has asked the semi-final organizers to release the events, I think, within 10 days before. Yeah. So you should start hearing about the events within the next 5 or 6 days, I would say, for my semi-final, which is Fittest in Cape Town.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah. So, but is there any sort of media broadcasting going on?
So there will be broadcasting. They are still trying to figure it out, because obviously with COVID there's been so many restrictions and shit. Okay. So if they bring in a broadcasting crew, then let's say that's an extra 7 people, then it's extra 7 people they can't have, as in people watching or whatever it might be. So they have to worry about that. Then there's another bunch of protocols that South Africa has in place which the event has to follow. And obviously also things happen a little bit quick the last 2 or 3 months as far as the CrossFit rules go, and semi-finals and quarterfinals and everything, because the whole game changed basically within the last 6 months.
Yeah.
So it used to be a whole different set of rules. Then it changed. Then it changed again, and now it's changed. I think for the third or fourth time, and this time I think it's yet to stay. So it's just been I think a difficult change for the event organizers because they've had to obviously organize everything very quickly, and also under the pressure of the government with all the new COVID protocols.
So what are you aspiring to, or which place do you have to get in order to qualify for the?
So in this competition, I have to win basically.
You have only
have
the winner.
to come first. Only the winner goes, man. Yeah. So it's all or nothing. Yeah.
Shit. Good.
Obviously,
luck.
that's the goal. So and it's definitely possible.
Yeah.
I've had a good couple of weeks training leading up to it.
Yeah.
So it should be good, man.
Do you feel you're in your prime right now in terms of physical fitness?
Yeah, as far as training goes, I would say I'm probably the best at the moment that I've ever been. Like, let's say about 6 or 7 months ago, I would have said that I was a lot fitter in 2017, 2016, when I was just before I left South Africa. I was very fit, but I was doing a lot wrong. Like I said to you, like I wasn't eating enough, I wasn't sleeping enough, like my recovery wasn't there. Yeah. So I've basically tried to fix all of that, and I should put on a good show. Yeah. I'm definitely at the best position I've been in so far. And the thing is, for me, this is basically a make or break year. So I have to make it work this year because, like I said to you when you spoke about it yesterday, like I need to start getting sponsored for the time I put in.
Yeah.
Like I can't keep on training 5 hours a day for another 8 years and not get paid. Because it's 5 hours that I could be spending on a business, you know? So like I enjoy training, but I don't enjoy 5 hours of training.
So you're looking for sponsors right now?
Yeah, that's the main thing.
Okay.
For me to be able to basically chase the goal and focus on what I need to focus on, I need more sponsors to obviously be able to do that. So that's basically the goal when it comes to this year. Yeah.
What is a typical sponsor for someone like you? Can be any company or
it could be it could be any company, man. Normally it's obviously someone who's, so it could either be someone who's in the sport of CrossFit. They just love CrossFit and their company has nothing to do with CrossFit, but they just want to support the individual because they like the individual or they like the sport. Yep. So it can either come from that, or obviously a company that's in the sport and it wants to gain more recognition. So let's say like Noble are massive in the States, but they're still pretty small when it comes to Asia and Africa.
Okay.
So if I had to do well in this competition and obviously gain a lot more followers, and let's say I end up with 100,000 followers or whatever it is after a year or 2 years, whatever it might be, then I'm a good fit for someone like Noble because obviously they want to grow in both Africa and Asia now because they're the new brand of CrossFit. Yeah. So obviously someone like me who have following in both Asia and South Africa is a good athlete to sponsor. So basically it could be a company in the sport, and then it could also just be a random company that wants to gain recognition for something. Because
Noble, if you hear that, you know who to sponsor.
Noble, whoever else wants to sponsor me, sponsor me.
Asia is the biggest continent in terms of population. So,
exactly. And Indonesia has like 250 million people.
Yeah.
So there's a massive market here for Noble shoes.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I wouldn't call Indonesia very fitness focused. However, there's a very, very physically active community here. Cycling is very big. Running is huge over here, and maybe CrossFit could be the next thing. You know? Other sports. I mean, football, of course, is very big as well. But this is more like a fan thing, right? It's not really the same.
Yeah.
But this is something I think I personally will definitely pursue further. You know, I want to see how far I can still make it with my 42/43 in a couple of days.
Getting old.
And so what I mean when you say make it or break it, if you make it, let's say you make it to the internationals and. Do you think if you win South Africa or if you win the regionals now or the semis, will it be much easier for you to get a sponsor? Or
it should be, yeah. So basically, if you make the games, obviously you get a lot more eyes on you, which means that there could be a lot more possibility for sponsorships.
Yeah.
Also, I think CrossFit. So like you said, you asked me if CrossFit is mainstream. Like when was it mainstream? Whatever. Yeah. At the moment, CrossFit is reaching a stage where they're pushing a lot more money into I would say sponsorships too, not from CrossFit, but from companies, but into prize money. So a lot of the competitions are upping their prize money. So as an athlete, I think right now is the most lucrative stage in CrossFit's career so far. So that's why it's a good time for me to obviously make or break it now.
Yeah,
but also, I'm 29 right now. It gives me another 6 years of elite level competition before I could still compete until like 37 possibly. But most likely, like I've got another 5 to 6 years of good elite level competition in me, with a healthy body. So I need to make it now, because at the end of the day, like I want to also make a good living, And if I spend 5 hours training and it doesn't give me any benefit other than just looking ripped, then it's not really helping me move forward in life. So then I could spend those 5 hours rather focused on building a company, or working on a different business or podcast, whatever it might be. But
going back to socks.
our socks are still in the works, man.
Bandung has loads of textile factories.
I know, yeah.
They do all sorts of stuff.
No, for sure.
You can do
we have our company is still alive. The thing is, what happened was with COVID, all the shipping went to shit. Our shipping methods took way too long during the COVID time. So it went up to like 8 weeks for our socks to get to some people in America and in South Africa, wherever else, because we ship from China. So our socks are still our socks. We have socks. We have women's active underwear, and we have men's active pants. So CrossFit shorts.
You sell online, or do you have a store?
We do sell online. Well, we used to. We stopped selling online now because we basically in like a transfer phase where we're trying to figure out which is the best way forward for the brand to either import into South Africa or to import into Indonesia, wherever we're obviously going to be next, so that we can ship from that place, because shipping from China takes too long. So what we're going to do is most likely we're going to drop our prices slightly and then offer DHL shipping from whichever country we at for a cheaper price for people. So basically we take some of the loss, and then they take a slight loss. But then obviously we know that our products are going to get to the people a lot quicker, and they're actually going to get there. Whereas with China Post, which most of the shipping companies in China use, they are going to most likely get to you, but it could take up to like 8 to 12 weeks, man. So that's where the problem comes in.
Okay, so let's say you make it to the finals. Will that propel you away from Bandung, or what is the consequence?
No, so if I make the finals, so the finals are happening end of July. So what I'll do then is
in the US, I guess.
In the US, yeah. So what I'll do then is I'll have to figure out which is the easiest way for me to get a US visa firstly, because I need to first secure a US visa, and obviously a lot of the US embassies are closed at the moment for applications because of COVID. So I'm gonna have to see which is the easiest way for me to get it.
I thought, can't you do it online?
Normally like
ETAS, or what's it called? EST?
Could be for Europeans. I think for Europeans. I'm South African.
Not for South African.
For South Africans, you can't enter many countries with online. You have to normally show up in person. For America, we have to book it online, and we have to go show up at the embassy in person.
I see.
So I have to look at what the easiest way for me is to get my visa. Once I've got the visa, then not once I've got the visa, if I can get it in Indonesia, we'll definitely come straight back here, and then I'll prepare here for a while, still keep on coaching, and then we'll probably have to leave for the States like 2 weeks before the games. So that'll mean like halfway through July. So I'll probably only be back in Indonesia for 3 to 4 weeks, and then we'll probably shoot to America, most likely.
So depending on how sensitive you are to jet lags. Because US is literally on the other side.
It's literally like 12 hours difference, man. It's a massive difference. So obviously, ideally, you want to be there a month before, but I mean, there's real life shit that you have to worry about. So I have to still work. So that's the catch. So I still have to coach, and then we'll probably head over there 2 weeks before, I would say, and then try shake jet lag as quick as possible. Then compete, and then once I finish the competition, we'll probably just come straight back here, man. That's the plan. That's the plan for right now.
Hopefully with a gold medal, man.
Yeah, you never know. You never know, man.
Maybe you'll be the next Fraser.
Yeah, you never know, man. A slightly older version, but I'll be there. So that's the plan, man. So the plan is to qualify, and the plan is to come back here, and the plan is to get sponsored. Like I've had many sponsors in the past, but it was mainly just product sponsors, and then they will pay for a flight here and there. Whereas you kind of need a salary if you want to make it worthwhile.
Yeah.
Because it is a lot of time to spend on something if you're not getting much in return. You know.
Yeah. Well, this is my standard advice to anyone, pretty much, like what you just said.
Yeah.
Like,
Exactly.
Like focus on what you really want to do or achieve, and then put all
the chips into.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, but at the same time, you don't want to. You also want to diversify. I mean, on the one hand, you're a trainer, but then you also want to kind of keep your skills up in terms of import export or producing things. You know, I mean, I don't think you want to go back into electrical.
Oh no, I would never. No,
okay.
Like that would never happen, man.
You may be able to make some money over here because the way people wire their houses here is quite funny, actually.
Oh, I've seen it in Asia. It's terrible. Yeah, it's shocking, man.
Yeah. It's literally shocking.
It's shocking. Yeah, it's literally shocking. It's amazing. I actually made a joke there without knowing it.
Yeah.
But
yes.
Yeah, man. So basically, the main thing is just do as well as I can this year.
Yeah.
See what happens. My main thing is also, obviously I want to get money in return for all the work that I put in at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Like when I just started CrossFit, I did it for the love of it. I still love CrossFit.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you do want to reap the rewards of your hard labor, you know?
Yeah.
So that is quite important for me. But also, I don't want to get to like 40, 50, 60 and then look back and say like, what if I put more effort into it?
Yeah.
Like, what could I have achieved, you know? I never want to be that guy that says, I could have been a CrossFit Games athlete.
Yeah.
I'd rather become a CrossFit Games athlete, you know?
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the spirit to have. I mean, you're still 29. I mean, I don't want to...
I still have a lot of time.
Yeah,
exactly.
I mean, I came to Asia after, I think I was 32 or something, or 30. Yeah, 30 or 31. So, and I was not really that focused, you know, to be honest. But but I did have a business purpose when I came here. I was working with developers, helping me out on my projects. But I never had an end game, you know, and I'm not really a competitive guy. So, but you know, I think you can make it. I mean, you're still in a perfect spot, and I just hope you make it to the
thank you, man.
international one. You know, and where is it? LA or?
And that'll be in Madison.
Madison, okay.
Yeah. Madison, Wisconsin.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. And then the total amount of like how big is the competition? Like, is it just 8?
No, so there's only 40.
40.
So 40, yeah. So top 40 athletes altogether. So from the 8, from the 8 semifinals, some semifinals, the top 5 go. The top 3 go. Some only the first guy goes.
Oh.
So it's not only the first guy from all 8 semifinals.
Okay. I see.
It's for South Africa because we don't have as many competitors in total. So in the open, we had, let's say, 5,000 men or 8,000 men, whatever it was, compared to America, which might have had 70,000 men. Yeah. So obviously, there's a big difference there. So more should qualify from America than from South Africa. So then they only gave us 1 game spot. And then obviously America, I think, has 10. I think it might be. Or 8 or something.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, I'm really looking forward to hear the story once you win and then win again.
Yeah, thank you, man.
Yeah.
And then keep on winning.
Yeah, absolutely. You will just keep winning, I'm sure. I mean, hopefully. I mean, of course, you know, like, I mean, you've experienced it before to not win, like we all have.
Yeah.
But maybe now it's the time.
No, for sure, man. I hope so. Yeah, thanks for having me on.
Yeah, I think that was a great session we had now.
Yeah, for sure.
Pretty much the time I was aiming for. And maybe at some point we're going to have another one.
Yeah, definitely.
Maybe with Dave together or whatever. You know?
Yeah, man, whenever he comes.
We can also have a threesome, no problem at all.
Yeah, threesome is great. Yeah. As long as you organize the extra mic.
Yeah.
And maybe something stronger.
Yeah.
Once I finish the competition, I can switch over to a whiskey or a good red wine or something.
Absolutely, got everything. No matter what you want, I can organize anything.
Yeah, sweet, man.
Fantastic. Okay,
all
Billy,
good.
thank you very much.
Thanks for having me on, man.
Awesome.
That was great.
Cheers.
Cheers, man.